In this video, I'm gonna tell you what split is best for hypertrophy, but I'm not gonna give you the cookie cutter canned response of, oh, well, this study says that this split maximized muscle growth more than this split. Instead, I'm gonna tell you that the best split for hypertrophy is the one that's gonna provide enough stimulus for you to achieve progressive overload, but also enough rest so that you're able to keep showing up to the gym week after week for years. Now, you have to understand, achieving your physique goals and building muscle is a long-term game, which requires long-term commitment and consistency. So the best split isn't what some study says is optimal for muscle growth. And I'm not knocking science here. These studies are valuable. But most people lack the basic consistency to keep showing up year after year. And if you just get that part right, you're going to make gains no matter what split you choose. Now, given that I take a long-term view of hypertrophy, I recommend training no more than 4 days per week for most people. Training this amount guarantees that you're getting enough volume and intensity in order to achieve progressive overload, but also that you're getting enough rest to stay mentally and physically committed to showing up. Now, a lot of people can also get by with, and I personally do this now, 3 days per week. And if you're one of those freak athletes or someone who just loves working out, then sure, you could probably get by with 5 days per week. But for most people, 3 to 4 is the sweet spot. And there are 3 types of splits you can do which are guaranteed muscle builders: upper-lower splits, push-pull leg splits, and body part or bro splits. Let's go over upper-lower splits. Now, this is a classic split where you alternate between upper body and lower body workouts. For example, you might train upper body on Monday and Thursday and then train lower body on Tuesday and Friday. This is what one example looks like. Now, this split is fantastic because it balances volume and intensity and allows you to hit each muscle group twice per week, and gives you plenty of recovery time in between. It's straightforward, effective, and perfect for beginners or anyone who want a proven approach to training. Now, let's talk about push-pull leg splits. The push-pull leg splits divides your training into 3 days. Push, which focuses on chest, shoulders, and triceps. Pull, which focuses on back and biceps. And legs, which focuses on quads, hamstrings, glutes, and calves. This split works well for people who want a little more variety in their training and want to give a little more attention to each particular muscle group. Given that, I recommend push-pull leg splits for lifters who have already been working out for a few months and have been working on their technique with the bigger lifts and are ready for some more variety. Now, there's a million ways you can program a push-pull leg split, but I like doing it on an every other day basis, which means you'll be training 1 day on, 1 day off. And just repeat that: 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off. Really simple and straightforward. So this means you'll be rotating between a 3-day per week and a 4-day per week schedule. Here's one example schedule. So in this one, you start day 1 push, day 2 rest, day 3 pull, day 4 rest, day 5 legs, day 6 rest, then day 7 you restart the cycle with push, and you just keep going, right? So 3 days 1 week, 4 days the next week, and keep going. So 4 days the first week, 3 days the second week, 4 days the third week, 3 days the fourth week, and on and on. It's flexible and extremely simple to implement, making it a solid choice for hypertrophy. And finally, we have the famous bro split. Think chest day, back day, arm day, and so on. Now, this approach focuses on 1 or 2 muscle groups per workout. And while it's often dismissed as suboptimal or old school by some, it can still work really well, especially if you're someone who enjoys going all in on one body part and fully exhausting the muscle. Now, I do recommend upper-lower splits or even push-pull leg splits for relatively newer lifters over a body part split. Frequency of training, or how often you hit a particular muscle group, which is lower on a body part split, seems to matter more for beginners as opposed to advanced lifters, and yes, the data seems to back this up. Beginners benefit more from higher frequency, whereas you don't quite see the same effect for advanced lifters. So here's a classic body part split that I've used in the past with success. This split makes sure that you're getting enough rest days in between similar muscle groups like chest and shoulders, or even potentially back and legs if you're going to deadlift on your back day, and gets you in the gym 4 days per week, which is optimal. Now, just make sure you're pushing yourself hard enough to get sufficient volume in a single session, as you'll only hit each muscle group once per week. Now, if you want slightly more frequency, you can choose to do a rotating body part split. Now, in this one, instead of restarting the next week, you simply restart the routine on Saturday. And so you get a little higher training frequency with this, so it might be slightly better for beginners. Now with this one, the difference is that you're collapsing your training days from 4 days to 3 days, but you're also restarting your schedule 1 day earlier. So instead of restarting the next week, you restart on Saturday. So you start Sunday back biceps, Tuesday chest, shoulders, triceps, Thursday legs, and then Saturday you restart again with back biceps, so you get slightly higher frequency. With this one, you eliminate the extra shoulders and biceps day and move shoulders to your chest and triceps day and biceps to your back day. We decrease the days in the gym from 4 to 3 every other week by combining chest, shoulders, and triceps on 1 day and back and biceps on 1 day. Now, any of these splits will work, but you need to try out whichever one of these splits seems more appealing to you and then see if it works long term. If not, you can try a different one which might be more suited to your preferences. And if you want a more detailed breakdown of the exact split I recommend for beginners, then watch this video where I break down my ultimate 4-day split for beginners and show you how it's done.